it sucks to play them.
Okay, Ryan, I'm currently having some streaming issues, but I'm recording on the low, so if you would like to commentate as normal, that would be great. Oh, now it's not on yet.
When the whistle. Past. If you're watching this, it means that I can see it, but you can't, so unlucky you. And I get to sit here in the comfort of the Rangai Media studio to watch Electronet Gisborne Thistle playing in the blue from right to left on your screen when you eventually see it versus Palmerston North Marist, last season's champions, playing from left to right. It's an early free kick for Marist, given by 20-year-old referee Shay Hughes, who would normally be younger than most of the players on the pitch and maybe still at a push, given Marist aren't exceptionally young, but Thistle this season are. There's 5 or even 6 of the starters for Thistle are teenagers. Maybe even 7, depending on how old Jimmy Somerton is these days. And there's either 10 or 11 in the squad, again depending on the age of Somerton. This is Awa for Marist on the right-hand side. Under attention from Jairo Wanua, who's been impressive in his early stages of his Gisborne Thistle career. I think the referee Shay Hughes is the son, I believe, of a very, very excellent referee from Central Football days past, Jerry Hughes, from down in Hawke's Bay. Man who loved to whistle, but only when it was needed. And had a great relationship with the players, so you can only imagine his son's cut from the same cloth as this corner comes over and continues to roll all the way to the other touchline. Gives you a good sighting of one Nicholas Carrick on the bench there for Palmerston North Marist. Of course, he played last week in their loss to Palmerston North United, who avenged their late season loss. It's Harwell with an early chance again. One's wide of goal. Ziggy West Hill looking to play the ball up the park, but no avail. It's Matt Hills in the middle, starting for Thistle in the number 13, I believe. Eyesight fails you when you're steering through a little weird projector-looking thing. But we're going to say that it's Matt Hills, and it looks like he's taken a spot up at the right side. You wouldn't call it a right wing, you'd call it a right forward, and that's Nick Land playing at centre-back. So a bit of a shuffle. Whitaker Hay retains his spot at left forward. There's Travis White sitting just behind Somerton there. It's Adam Cowan in the 7 for Marist, a 43-year-old man these days, and Someone who's not quite as old as Nick Hayward, but plenty of experience back in the squad in place of Liam Outram. There's Jake Erskine on the right-hand side. There's a good sighting of new Gisborne Thistle, electronic Gisborne Thistle coach Tam Kramer. And over there, it's like chasing. Charlton's bursting onto that one. And it's a late touch for Awa, who's really stolen that one off his mate, and it's an early goal conceded by electronic Gisborne Thistle. So we won't be able to share the disappointment there in the broadcast, but we can look back on it. The opposite of whatever fondly is. Has been a tough start to the season for Thistle, but it's a new phase, new era. As we mentioned before, lots of teenagers. There's one playing the ball to the other in Manderson and Wedepahay. Here's a man old enough to be their father. McLean goes under looking for Jimmy Somerton. They'll need to be careful not to be too direct today, Thistle. I don't think that's going to help on the turf. Some experienced defenders for Palmerston North Marist, as Wanoa tries to scale the heights of Adam Cowan, who, for those who aren't familiar, can do a backflip, and we would like to see that from him. There's Wallace high on the right. Erskine now challenge from Wedepahay. It's done well, but it's a Marist throw-in. Charlton now into the area. He's Somerton with the chance to get on the end of that, but Hayward's nice and high, and that ball's not going to hold up on the turf. It's just going to bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce. Shouldn't be hard to find the goal for anybody today, though. It's probably at least 5 or 6 goals around the outside of the field, not including the ones that you meant to score in. Unsure about the level of tidiness currently taking place at Arena Manawatu. Perhaps make a storage area for them, keep them out of the way. There's Marist building now, of course, as mentioned, league champions from last season, but were dealt with aplomb by Island Bay United in the playoffs. It's a go from distance from Cowan. Tries to put that one into the basketball stadium. Or is that the grandstand? You never know. I'm going to call grandstand. Little Mark Papel lookalike coming through on the bench for Palmerston North Marist. It's Thompson getting a bit of pressure put on him by Solomon Island international Paul Awa. There's Minshaw, also known as Napoleon Dynamite, bursting into the area. Does well to hold his feet, and it's a full stretch save in the top corner by former Campion College, now Gisborne Boys High School student Aidan Armstrong, another one of the teenagers for Thistle at the moment, with, of course, regular goalkeeper Mitchell Stewart-Hill nursing an injury at home. So it is a case of, for the most part, men versus boys here today, and it'll be up to the Thistle to hold their nerve and batten down the hatches for the bulk of the game, especially at set-piece situations where they're not going to have the strength. In saying that, though, Ziggy Westhill was a distinguished performer last week versus Taradale. Goals only coming early and late. Later two coming after substitutions, as Thistle just couldn't get themselves organised at the back, and that's going to happen when you've got a virtually brand new defensive unit. Speaking of which, today, none of the players in the entire back five played at the back last season for Thistle. Lane, of course, might have filled in on the odd occasion, but he wasn't known as a centre-back. He'll be happy to be there today, though. The only position he hasn't played for Thistle is in goal. And you look to see the attacking traits of Hill playing at fullback this week, which will be exciting. Going to get the chance to see what his delivery is like now. Decent into the area, but it's got to beat that first post for it to give any threat. Speaking of which, Charlton's jacked up Manderson there. West Hill's tracking well. And Armstrong with the save with the feet. Down to Awa. Squared, but not to a teammate. Like a little bit of rain falling as well in Palmerston North today. There's another one across the top of the area. Tidy feet there from Awa. Another save from Armstrong. They're going to need to clear that Thistle, but they don't manage to. Looks like Mason Charlton, who's got himself on the score sheet there. Thistle just not dealing with the scraps on that occasion. And they've got to be careful, the lads. Otherwise, it's going to be a long day at the office. You'll know the result before you watch this, unless you've got the self-control to stay away from it. As the messages start to flood in from the cell phone, asking for the stream. You've got no way of knowing that as it stands. Man's just lost his touch there, getting used to the turf, and that's going to be a penalty. Something he had to do land there. He's hurt himself, and you'll have Daniel Venema chomping at the bit from the bench looking to get on. Take a lot to bring land down, though. He's a tough man, a man of the land, no pun intended. Farming up there at Mangone Station, part of the wider Reeves dynasty. Here's Thistle head coach physio Tam Kramer. To take the opportunity to maybe share a bit of wisdom as Armstrong awaits the penalty. He's got a good track record on penalties, Armstrong. Saved a couple last season for the youth team. Maybe even a couple of three. As we wait on bated breath. Looks like Land's escaped a card there. I don't believe it was cynical. It's a very well taken penalty for Palmerston North Marist. Looks like Erskine perhaps who's taken that. Debate will continue whether it's Erskine or Erskine. Maybe even Jaden Shaw. Hard to tell from the angle. Revealed in the fullness of time. Looks like Thistle might be making the change. And it is indeed Dan Venema. Of course, sponsored by Rotorua Forklift Hire. He's coming on to join Wānoa at the back with his team 3-0 down in the early stages. Really, you've got to say now, looking to avoid a tough day at the office. But stranger things have happened. They just need to stop kicking the ball to the other team. Anderson now with Wedeka. Thistle can settle things here. They can try and hang on to it, but that one's misdirected by Travis White. Venom's chance to get the challenge, which he does well, under the attention from Campbell Wallace. And welcome from the current, it would seem. We are, as you can see, 13-ish minutes into the game. Feels like longer though, to be honest, having watched the first 13 minutes. Marist on the front foot again. I think they know what's available to them today, and there's blood in the water, you would say, as that one crashes off the post. They've just missed a injury suffered by Gisborne Thistle stalwart, the 400 or maybe even 500 gamer Nicholas Land, who's considered a penalty in the process of that injury. It's Marist again, free rein in the area. That's his replacement, Dan Venema, looking to prevent any further score. This is Caden Anderson introducing himself to Adam Cowan, who's gone down like a sack of something. To be fair, no protestation from him there. Here's Wedeka coming away with it, looking for space, which he's found Matt Hills in, who's tried to go around the outside, but I don't know if that one's going to work on somebody as experienced as that. Looks like Jaden Shaw there at sort of left of a back three almost, but it's a pretty fluid style that Marist played. You'd imagine player coach Cowan sort of just tells them to go wherever they want, because that's what he does when he plays, and to good effect. Here's Owen now, who hasn't evaded the offside flag and has gone to finish anyway. So Thistle not rolling over here, but you'd have to say the body language doesn't look like they're too stoked to be in the position that they're in, and that's understandable. Just to the studio comments on the side there, I wouldn't recommend watching that first 10 minutes. There's probably better things that I could do with my time, so let's just go the old 0-0 and play it from now. I'm sure the Central Football Administration won't have a problem with that. Given if there's no visuals, how can you tell whether it happened or not? But the good news is, PK, you can hop in the comment section if you're still around, if you haven't given up, if you happen to just be checking, but I don't know whether you were. I don't even know where you are. There's Wallace. Minshall in the middle. Looks to have trimmed the mullet, which I'm not too happy about. It's a good little defensive effort from one, and looks like either Thompson or West Hill. Some confusion, players expecting a penalty, but you'd like to think that that won't be something that's focused on given the circumstances today. Here's Shaw now. He's looking a little bit darker than it has before, perhaps. Maybe the black rinse has gone through. It's a good tackle from the man there, and he's been fouled by Travis White, who's going to find himself in the book. That's another thing Thistle will need to watch. That's the last thing the players need today, is to be playing with one less. at least they would have had a good sleep last night, having come down on the bus. Hopefully Shai Avni's enjoyed his big grind for breakfast. Here's Cowan taking it upon himself to take that free kick. That's the first one into the arms of Armstrong. He's got Manderson on his outside. Manderson, of course, making the step up from Eastern League Division 1 in Gisborne last season to the Federation League. So 2 levels that he's stepped up from last season. Now 16-year-old, and that's a good defensive challenge from Dan Venema. Always difficult to come into a game, but you probably want to do it earlier rather than later. Shaw now building from the back. Summerton gets a touch, but he's looking very isolated up top there all by himself. It's a man who's got double-figure goals in him per season. You want to make sure he's got a supply. So that one filters through to Armstrong. You see the Thistle players are now starting to adjust to that surface on the turf. It'll be the first time on a turf for a lot of these guys. Thompson going underneath. Evades Shaw. He's done well. There's Wedeka Hay on his inside. He managed to keep the ball in. Some tidy feet there and bulldoze off the ball by Erskine. And it's Thistle's first real chance to get some attacking pressure on the goal. Had the earlier free kick from Ziggy Westhill, which got into the area but not into any area of concern. And it's Thistle captain McVeigh who's going to stand over this. They'll be looking to challenge that near post of Hayward. You'd imagine it's gone to the far. Hayward's got the touch, and it's going to be a Gisborne Thistle corner. So some attacking impetus here for Electronet Gisborne Thistle in their centenary year. Congratulations to the club for putting on such a great event over Easter. Well attended. Hundreds of current and former Thistle players all gathering together to celebrate the club. Work from people such as Ron Young and Mark Pearce, in more recent times at ANI Media CEO Shannon Dowson. Get it where it is today, to give people the opportunity, to give the young players in Gisborne an opportunity to test themselves at the highest level possible, which is definitely what's happening today for Thistle. There's Minchell. Thompson does well to win that one, and he's earned the free kick. And that's a definite mullet trim to Minchell there, and that's very disappointing. He needs to let those curls free. He needs to let them below the neckline and just showcase what God's given him. So if there's any associates of Luke Minchell out there, you just tell him to not get any more haircuts for a good little while, please. And if it is, it's just the sides. Commander Concerned dances into the area there. This one's cleared by Westhill and eventually brought under control by Wedeka Hay. He's got Manderson above him wide. White's not moved towards that one, and Owen's cut it out. He's Shaw as his assistant assistant coach, Josh Kremen on the inside. Another who didn't play last week. He's White now. Keeping possession. Wedeka Hay looks ahead of him but doesn't see a whole lot of options. Manderson has just underhit that one into Armstrong, who's done well to get a boot on it. He's going to have to be careful of his goal line here, though. You'd like to think he's still got another 6 inches or so to add to that height over the years, maybe more. It's a great touch from Hills. Found himself some space. He's being hotly pursued, but he's got the ball into the area for Somerton, who's not got across the front of Hayward there, but a couple of good involvements from Hills already. Another one that's come over from Gisborne United in the Eastern League last season. Of course, not much competition in that league for the boys, side of what was Wainui Sharks. I mean, Tiago de Mello was playing, but without him, they weren't a whole lot. And you come into a league so keenly contested this season, with the carrot of Central League 2 dangling ahead of the clubs. You'd imagine Marist, if not gaining promotion, will at least be stepping into that Central League 2. Half a dozen clubs, likely from Capital Football, that'll come into that, as well as you'd imagine Marist. You'd think Wanganui after their relegation from Central League last year, and then the other places are up for grabs. Palmerston North United, of course, will be keen to get hold of one of those, and so they should, for an area of playing resources such as the Manawatu. And the other fight will be between the New Plymouth clubs and the Napier clubs to see who gets that fourth spot, you would think. And of course, in the long-term ambitions for Thistle, but this season will be one of building. Just to reiterate those who haven't heard earlier on, it's essentially a under 19, if not under 17 team that they've got out on the park, with plus 3 or 4, if anything, really. An injured Nick Land, who would have been playing McVeigh in the middle and Somerton up top, as well as Travis White, who has been in and out of the first team over the past 3 or 4 seasons at Thistle. He's Owen out. Of course, without his teammate Michael Bossort from last season, who set sail for Hamilton Wanderers in the Northern League. Also worth noting, a couple of teenagers featuring for Palmerston North Marist. You've got Aidan Foster in the number 13. So not had too much to say so far. Looks like he's out on the left-hand side there, dealing with Matt Hills, mainly. Just coming into screen now, 8 of the assistant referee. As well as Nokutinda Mufunda, the Zimbabwean, out of Palmerston North Boys High School. He's wearing the 17. So it should be Awa in the 11 and Mufunda in the 17. Mufunda just dropping into midfield now. Could be a case of mistaken identity on a couple of occasions so far. Apologies to the viewers. Awa tends to lurk over on that left-hand side. Special prizes available from Lee Pollitt at Electronet, of course, for anybody who can name more than 3 Zimbabwean footballers without Googling it. There's definitely been at least one in the Premier League. Here's Charlton now bearing down on goal. If Aiden's got a touch on that, that's a fantastic save, because Charlton had the whole goal at his mercy. It looks like it was an outstretched boot that has got onto it from Armstrong. That's a good save from the young man. Be great for his confidence. Gets to practice his corners again now. Coming out and dominating those. Looks like those numbers are slowly building, the people that have cottoned on to the stream being back with us. All hands to the pump, or two hands to the pump here in the Rangai studio by floor manager Sheila to bring that back on board. She accepts gifts. She enjoys a Granny Smith apple, says that they're really hard to come by. And if you can take as many Granny Smith apples as you can into the studio here at Rangai Media on Gladstone Road. Doesn't mind them stewed. Manderson and Venom are building from the back. That's Mufunda this time who's come across. Good covering challenge from Wānoa there. And another corner for Marist, but it's been a good little period from Thistle here. On a good 15 minutes without conceding after a tough start. It's a free header for Minshall at the far post, but misdirected. Thistle will do well just to slow things down as much as possible here. Give themselves some time just to take stock and look to build. That's Awa into the area from that left-hand side. Keep an eye out for that. Here's Shaw looking to find Minshall in the middle. It's a great strike from distance, and that's a fourth for Palmerston North Marist. Right on 30 minutes. So as we were saying, good period from Thistle, but it took someone to say something, isn't it? So that's an assist to the commentator there. And it'll be interesting to see how Marist play this one, whether it's going to be really foot to the throat or whether some of those players on the bench are going to get another chance to redeem themselves. Of course, the Zacks, who are two different people, one from Fielding, one from England via Wanganui, who have been dropped after last week. I'm sure they would be very keen to redeem themselves this week. And you've got another teenager and Luke Harris on the bench as well, who'll be looking to get some minutes. As well as potentially a chance for Nick Carrick, to on the fitness levels, to integrate himself back in. Of course, had, for the most part, the season off, you'd call it, last year. Heard rumours of spending a lot of time on the golf course, but he's a dangerous man who has got plenty of goals in him. So it'll be no respite if the bench is cleared for Palmerston North Marist, but good challenge there from Wedepahey. It's Manderson on his outside who looks to get around Erskine. And it's going to be a goal kick now, correctly forecasted from the Palmerston North Marist bench, or perhaps somebody just standing beside the VO camera. Former Gisborne Thistle, current Gisborne Boys High School head coach Garrett Blair, 1989, popping up in the comments section. Max Mika generally wears this South Africa jacket, which casts dispersion upon his true Zimbabwean identity. I don't want to say that he's not, but does he consider himself a Zimbabwean if he's going to be wearing South African regalia? But yes, he does count. Second one, you'll be looking for a striker who featured for Man City, I would say. And a third, you could go for one man who played for the New Zealand Knights. if you want to go back that far. I'm actually unsure whether it was the Knights or the Kings. Here's Marist again looking dangerous, and looks like Wallace who's snuck between them, and a great full stretch save to the right from Armstrong. Seems like might be the only man standing between Palmerston North Marist and, you don't want to say it, but double figures today. If that one goes down, he's going to need to be quick on it, which he was. But sometimes a spade's just got to be a spade, doesn't it? And on paper, Thistle are up against it today. They're early in their development as a team. They are young, as we have said, ad nauseum, but can't be understated the value of experience at this level. And that's something that Gisborne teams have always lacked. In the days of success, it's only ever been due to imports coming in from overseas or out of town. Here's Charlton bearing down on goal. He's got Awa at the far stick. Under a challenge from West Hill, but he's slotted that one home, which will be a fifth for Marist. As referee Shay Hughes, son of Jerry, for those who recall the name. You definitely won't forget the face. Signals some treatment on as the Marist players take in some hydration, and the VO camera doesn't know where to look. So it could be one each on the injury stakes here for the two sides. And looks like the substitution has been made. That's Zach Farmer coming on. Former YouTuber, he deleted the account. He doesn't want the slide tackle being displayed any longer. But that's a substitution made for Awa. Gets himself 2 goals, so it's good for the fantasy stats, but concerning for the weeks to come. To come off so quickly could be precautionary, but you'd like to think you're given time to recover rather than making that first half sub unless there's absolutely no chance coming in. And thoughts again to Nicholas Land and the Thistle squad after losing the stalwart so early in this one. Cheeky there from Armstrong. Still putting a few passes together, but you can see that pressure just coming from Marist. It's definitely not their first rodeo, so they're going to be right on top of any swagger that's attempted by Gisborne Thistle. And what you'll really look to see here is any change in tactics or attitude from half-time. There's Somerton just gambling on that one, but can't get on the end of it. Real burst into the area here from Farmer. That's almost a fantastic introduction into the game. Armstrong hurls this one out to McVeigh as central midfielder. He's got Manderson beneath. Wedepa Hay under pressure from Erskine and Wallace. And they're not exceptionally organised, Palmerston North Marist, but you can see how they address each player each time they're on the ball. So that the man receives the ball and basically whoever's closest goes to put some pressure on him straight away, and they seem to know that. It's another injury there on the turf, which does happen. Hard surface. Things hurt. So Erskine just slides that one to the side so that Mufunda can receive some treatment. Which of course begs the question if Thistle really grit their teeth and get stuck in here. how long do Marist keep pressing? You'd think they've got the game under control. Stranger things have happened, of course. You hark back to the 7-6 match with Napier City Rovers reserves last season. Never got to 5-0, but just need someone to say or to check if there's a chance. Check how long this delay in the coverage goes on for. Perhaps some water getting into the VO camera there, leaving us to entertain ourselves in the comment section. And indeed looks like a flash flood has occurred in Palmerston North, and some cordial applause as Mufunda re-enters the game. As you can see, players appearing to be completely submerged in water at this stage, which is rainfall of biblical proportions. Takes you back to simple soccer days for those who are old enough to remember. Pixelated screen and figures moving back and forth upon it. Marist enjoying advantage here under the weight of the challenge. And you live in hope that the pixels disappear. Marist this time losing possession. It's resulted in the Thistle throw, which there haven't been a lot of throw-ins today, which is surprising given the nature of the turf. Is Somerton beginning to venture out to try and get some touches on the ball? The service hasn't been there today, but the possession hasn't been there for Thistle. And that'll be frustrating Somerton. He's a man who wants to be on the ball. Here's Farmer, energetic character as Cowan goes into the area this time. Here's Hills releases Somerton down the right. He's going to want to get himself on that score sheet if nothing else today. That one's cut out by Wanoa this time. Farmer there, causing grief yet again. And the distinctive pink boots. Armstrong will be enjoying the nice surface to play off at least for those goal kicks. Not that there's been a lot of goal kicks, so Marist being frugal with their attempts on goal. Somewhat clinical, you would say, but a couple of chances that have gone begging. And to be fair, for a match when 80+% has been inside Marist attacking third, let alone half, Thistle are somewhat resolute in their defence. It's Cowan, could have pulled the trigger there but didn't. You think that Farmer definitely will, and that was blocked by Manderson coming across. It's McVeigh just looking to creep higher to give Somerton somebody beside him. Venema not getting the challenge in there. But Wanoa cutting it out before it got into a real danger zone. It's got all the tricks, this man on the touchline for Marist. And it's not Kremen. corner comes over from Wallace. Free hitter and a good save from Armstrong down low. And then Farmer again, who's easily had the most shots on goal in his brief stay on the pitch so far. Ian Trewitt, the assistant coach for Palmerston North Marist. It's Minchell now, looking to put away Charlton. And another good save from Armstrong. Under attention from Wānoa. Worth some research into Trewitt's credentials here in the studio. The corner's taken short this time and sent to the far post by Adam Cowan. The long range header resulting in a goal kick. Played short this time by Armstrong. He's got one on his outside and getting West Hill some touches on the ball. Obviously not been as involved from that right back position as in last week versus Taradale. That one's safely into the arms of Armstrong. Unsure if you'd call them strong arms quite yet. Still a young man, plenty of development to go. As that one goes over, there'll be a challenge for him as Cowan pumps one in from close range. Really bludgeoned that one into the net, and he would have enjoyed that. He's a suffers no fools, does Adam Cowan. Been around a long time. Just with the research here in the studio, I'm not calling that's not Trewitt on the sideline. Trewitt's a 51-year-old male. And he's looking bloody good for 51 if that's him there. Doesn't look a day over 40. Highly credentialed, holds the C licence. Legitimate, able to be on that touchline. And we're going to make a resolution here in the studio. We're not going to mention the scoreline. It's on the screen. It's available to you, I'm sure, but it's no longer what we're here for. We're here for the company. We're here for the good vibes, let's just say. Wallace brings that one down well on the edge of the area. The yellow lines, of course, we're looking at. There's Farmer having another go. As the Hilux fires up and exits stage left. Looks like we've got half-time here at Arena Manawatu. It's Palmerston North Marist plenty. Election at Gisborne Thistle, nothing yet. We'll see you again in 10 minutes or so.
yellowing me. Yeah, I figured the injury was enough. I sort of like, I wasn't taking it to try and get off there. Is it working here?
Yeah. I can break it.
Oh, yeah, no.
welcome back to this excellent opportunity to spend some time together out here in the land of the YouTube. Some things have changed. Players stopped playing for a while and now they're running in the opposite direction. Looks like Matt Hills is tucked in quite deep there. Remains to be seen whether he's playing at right back or just standing there for now. There's the sombre figure of Nicholas Land down the bottom of your screen hobbling back to the dugout, so you'd think that's at least a week off for him. Somerton making his way over to Cowan. And it'll be interesting to see how Marist play this half out. Doesn't need to be stated that the points are in the bag. But what we do get to watch is how Thistle conduct themselves now. It's an unenviable position to be in. Minshaw looks to strike one from the top of the area. But it will be very interesting to see what Thistle are made of for this remaining 45 minutes. We'll get a much better look at Matt Hills on this nearer side, of course the new signing for the season. Comes with plenty of touches. Not sure how much ball he'll get being out wide here. Sound like he's playing with the soundtrack at the moment. Perhaps a little bit of Coldplay in behind as Aidan Foster forgets which way they're going and nods that one over the bar from close range. Which this will take. Armstrong goes semi-long from the goal kick, around about 40 metres you'd think, based on the ropey markings. Here's Hayward with a rear touch. He's got the ball at his feet and goes long straight away. He's looking for Cowan, who nods inside to Farmer. He's missed his touch, but it's Minshaw with the ball at his feet, and good tackle and a good block from Ziggy Westhill. It's McVeigh going underneath around Foster. That one's off the chest of Josh Kremen. Manages to keep it in, but it's good pressure from Somerton. Here's building something for Thistle as they go forward. But that's Marist captain Jaden Shaw cutting that one out. Westhill does the same for Thistle, but it's Minshaw picking up the scraps as he voyages around the outside into the byline. He's got numbers in the middle. Good challenge from Manderson and a good position to cover there as well, to be fair. McVeigh and Hills exchanging now. Hope that McVeigh keeps this one short, which he does to Hills. Somerton now doing the same. Query the nice pair of Puma Kings perhaps on the feet of Somerton. That's assistant referee on the near side there, Brandon Climo, raising that flag. Going to confirm not Puma Kings on the feet of Somerton, just a pair of white socks poking out. The ball is into the abyss on the far side. I wonder if we can code a VO camera to zoom when the ball's further away, just a little bit. You're not looking for a lot, but you're looking for a bit clearer visual for the purposes of entertainment. Don't know whether VO takes in the fixtures, don't know whether VO reviews it. Wouldn't imagine so. They've made their money on the products. It's 1-1. Brings that one down to McVeigh in an acre of space, who's put Somerton away, who's done well to bring it down. Not the intention of the pass from McVeigh, however, but difficult to catch up with a low, hard ball on the bouncy turf. Marist building again. Onside there. Comes over, he's got Foster at this far post who does well to keep it in and square it, but only into the arms of Armstrong. Hills on that occasion. Copping a rap in the leg for his troubles. McVeigh brings Armstrong in, nonchalantly takes it across his body and then gives it back the other way. Venema has Hills above him. Another free kick here for the Thistle, a drop ball, should say, rather. Some referee involvement, of course, bringing that one to a stop. And you see the two there beside each other, Hills and Minshew, and you wonder if the curls on Hills would produce a mullet as delicious as the one that Minshew used to wear. As Zach Hughes makes his way onto the field, that's the one from fielding, not the one from Wanganui. Very good close control there. Getting Travis White involved. So this will move forward through Manderson. Just enjoy some position here on the turf. Venema pressed well by Minshew. Wanoa wins that one back though. Here's McVeigh in a dangerous position. That one's headed back in a very composed fashion from Jaden Shaw to Nick Haywood. And looks like Hughes there not able to bring that one under control. No one's done anything about the visual pollution of the six-a-side goals being left out at Arena Manawatu. But looks like good numbers in the stands. Here's Summerton now out on the left. Look to work some magic, but won't be able to work by himself from that distance. As Wede Pahay saunters over to collect the ball from Anderson to throw it in. Good second effort there from Anderson, bringing Summerton involved, and here's an opportunity for Thistle into the area. Thompson has McVeigh at the top of the area, and it's a good save from Haywood, to be fair. Memory serves me correct, the first one he's actually had to make of the day. Struck well by McVeigh. And acres of space. So if Thistle can get some pressure on here, they'll be able to take something. Good delivery from White to that far post, and looks like Wanoa couldn't quite meet it with the angle that was required. Good chance for Thistle. So there's something there. Busy man today, Wanoa. He'll have earned his long bus ride home. But at least he gets to sleep in his own bed tonight. Assuming he has a bed of his own, of course. Don't want to prejudge anyone or anything. He might sleep on a futon. Thistle keeping this one looking reasonably relaxed, and Armstrong testing the waters there. Some loss of shin pad occurring on the left-hand side for Palmerston North Marist. It's Mafunda playing that one in to Mason Charlton up top, but to no product. Marist wanted the free kick, didn't get it. I'll get that one though. Thompson just neglects to acknowledge that there was a person in between him and the ball. Cowan going long. Hughes there, told to back himself, and probably puts his foot through it. It's a Marist corner now, which has gone short. And across the face of goal. As we notice another 2 six-a-side goals left out. It's McVeigh under some intense pressure from Minshall there. West Hill with a little bit more time to pick his pass. But that's the one thing you notice from Marist, is just they move to the ball faster when it's there. And you can't negate the impact advantage, could you say, of playing on the turf. Training on the turf, you would assume as well. Of course, there's another side to that. Cowan having a go from distance, looking for the worldie. Yeah, that wind buffeting the VO camera down there in Palmerston North. It's been, by all reports, which I've not seen any, week of wild weather across the country, apart from in Gisborne, of course, opposite to the normal weather patterns of the country, as per usual. It's Anderson flying in there, and referee doesn't take the opportunity to create himself some admin and issue the card, which is good to see. Just a missed time challenge. Free kick comes over and is met, but no real follow-up there of any constitution from Marist. Here they go again, building that attack to go from distance, but it's wide of the post from Minshall on that occasion. Bit of length on the goal kick that time from Armstrong, but gobbled up by the Marist defence. Opportunity at the feet there. Armstrong does well to get off his line quickly and cut that one out. There's McVeigh picking up the pieces. West Hill looks at his options and sees Manderson with plenty of space on the opposite side. opportunity for Wirepahe to get something into the area, but again, just runs on too fast. There's substitution coming on, not sure who for, but it will be revealed in the fullness of time. Looks like potentially Charlton coming off. And Nicholas Carrick coming back on. Good to see. Always good to watch good players show their skills. Not sure if that means Cowan's coming off as well. You can just see him exit the screen at the bottom there. Perhaps taking the opportunity to play with 10. But as you can see, Cowan's not left the field. Just gone to grab a drink or perhaps a hot chocolate. Probably not the kind of day you want to be sitting on the sideline in the rain, to be fair, so you can understand that from the player coach. Manson shifts his way out of trouble there, he's done well. But White unable to carry that one on. It's gone across the face of goal, it's dangerous, but it's come to nothing yet for Marist. Here's Kremen looking for the far post, and it's back on the other side of the field now as that rain really starts to come down. You only hope that the travelling players took a change of clothes with them, otherwise it's a potential trip to your nearest store of convenience to buy some track pants and a jersey. Here's West Hill and Hills above him. Fay looking to overlap and does get it. But again, just adjusting those passes to the speed of the turf. Is Hayward looking to go long? You do wonder why, when your team's up on the scoreboard. Could be an opportunity to work on a few things, to work on building from the back, maybe see how long you can keep it or something like that, but no. Just banged it. Here's Summerton looking to get into the area and it's banged away again. Little point to note maybe based on the angle of that rain, if there's a strong breeze at the back of Thistle this half, perhaps. Could have been another factor to take into consideration in that first half. Probably running out of time to achieve parity on the scoreboard for Thistle, but definitely plenty of time to still make a statement here. And just further to that potential win factor, you'll note how many balls running out over that byline in front of the lime green grandstand there as Mufunda makes way for Luke Harris, the teenager, 18 years old, out of Palmerston North Boys High School, formerly of the Hokowhitu Club. West Hill rise as well to win that header. It's Kremen now, just taking his time at the back. Hayward does as well. It's a good spot to find Farmer. Hills does well to track and cause some trouble there. Good energy from the young man. There's Thompson looking to get around Minshaw, giving him a good old cuddle. Fay getting in, some good energy being shown by the Thistle here. Tricky little manoeuvre from Armstrong there to get that one up into his hands. Here's Venema turning and faced by two Palmerston North Marist attackers. As things get a bit sloppy for the Thistle, and very soft penalty conceded there. Not a whole lot of complaint from Venema, but perhaps that's dejection. It's Thistle who have gone a good 20 minutes without conceding here. Look to have that rug ripped from under them. It's a yellow card for Venema. Joins Travis White in the book. Cowan's the man who's taking the penalty. For what exact reason, can't be completely sure. Maybe practice, but he's probably had enough practice with them. He's slotted that one to get himself on the score sheet. So Electronet Gisborne Thistle yet to get on the board today. But we live in hope and expectation that there is something in it for them. It's going to be a very good test of character to see how the lads respond in that next fixture. Surely they'll be allowed to play at home next week. We've got consecutive away fixtures to start and finish the season. Of course, the playoff in that is that there will be 3 home fixtures in a row to finish the first round, which I guess you'd rather have in the middle of winter than the end of winter. But 3 away fixtures across the country in a row is nothing short of punishing. And of course, no other club in the league has to deal with that. First home game next week for Gisborne Thistle against Palmerston North United, who are playing Havelock North Wanderers this week, and it'll be the first time that Havelock North Wanderers have featured in Federation League for a good season or 3. Interesting to see how they acquit themselves. Just as interesting to see how Wanganui Athletic go today versus Taradale. Of course, Athletic taking the loss last week to FC Western, who themselves have a local derby against Paringa United, who's being fronted by Dom Squatiti. Squatiti. Tricky one to pronounce. So analysis here midway through the half. Definitely a wind factor at play. Something that's difficult to pick up when you're not at the ground itself. Work on, still looking for more of a tilt from the camera if it's possible somehow. Might need to get the welder out. Or perhaps just the hacksaw. Shorten some front legs. Massive stability issues, of course, but not so interested in what's happening in the hills behind. That said, how fortunate are we? I'm sure there's many parents watching this that can have the opportunity to take in their children playing. That wouldn't happen 10 years ago, let alone 5. Here's White right underneath the toes of the camera as well to retain possession as the Gisborne Thistle subs look to warm up and state their case to get involved. Shay Hughes picks up a little foul on that far side there. His Farmer bursting into the area. Those pink boots are lighting up the turf. Venema stays strong. Somerton, frustrating day for the man up front for Thistle. And Coach Tam Kramer will need to put his thinking cap on. He's got a number of caps and the thinking one is one of them. To figure out how they can get that man more involved in the action. They've got David Salmon currently in the land of the rising sun, or perhaps whatever career is called. He'll be due to come back shortly. As well as one Isaac Bush to come in, and I think the presence of the two of them in the midfield might give him some more options in terms of how to release McVeigh into some more attacking positions, which will help Somerton as well. Salmon, of course, very accomplished passer of the ball. Not quite sure who the man down is here for Thistle. Looks like it could be Manderson. Who might just be feeling like he's had about enough. Tough day at the office, but he's back on his feet. Other matches going on around the country at the moment. If we can fire the Tribe app up now, rather, which is working much better than it was last week. Got Wellington Olympic up 2-0 over Waterside Crawley in the Capital League. One Alex Davies, former Gisborne Thistle player, of course, on the subs bench there, as well as Oliver Calotti, who's gone from Melville United, a key figure there in their push for National League 2 seasons ago. He's gone overseas on trial. He's come back and hasn't really worked out for him at Auckland City, and now he's in the Wellington Olympic Reserves, where Oliver Davies, former Gisborne Thistle player, was a key figure last season. So interesting there. As Venema deals with this one into the box. Just look if we can inspect some Central League lineups as we go. See whether perhaps Oliver Davies, the older brother of Alex, managed to creep himself into a starting spot, but of course no lineups just yet, so keep an eye out for that one. Although that's not the match that'll be on your FIFA Plus platform today. That'll be Petone, or Pito One as it's potentially soon to be renamed, taking on Island Bay, who are of course the team that beat Palmerston North Marist in the playoff last season to get into Central League. They suffered a 2-0 loss to Miramar last week, and a healthy thumping by Western Suburbs the week before, conceding the same amount of goals as Thistle currently have now and only getting one in return. And that happens. Here's Hills moving forward, drawing them in, keeping the ball under close attention from three Marist defenders, but can't get past that third. Crimin now at the back for Marist. Hayward playing short this time for his captain, Jaden Shaw. Swift move from Marist on the outside, but amounts to nothing on that occasion. There's that Carrick just looking to put a bit of pressure on. I haven't seen anything with the ball at his feet yet. Somerton gambles on that one, but to no avail. Just still looking at these scores from the Central League last week in a 5-3 victory to Western Suburbs over Wellington Olympic. So plenty of movement down there in the Central League fixtures. Cowan skips around Wānoa. There's Minchell at the top, and it's another one there for Palmerston North Marist. And there's only one thing that Thistle are looking to avoid at this stage. And you'd hope that the referee, Shay Hughes, son of Jerry and Belinda, isn't looking to play too much added time here. Regulations suggesting that a certain amount of time should be added for goals, substitutions, what have you, but that Law 18 hopefully comes into play, of course, the one about common sense, as this will potentially have the chance to chew up some time with.
walking between the three of you. There should be three of you. Shrug your shoulders. Good fucking job. He's not enough to go fucking somebody over there doing his job and shrugging his shoulders because he can't do his job properly.
Go, Gavin! Go, Gav! Oh no, it's fucking very good. I've got 2 minutes.
Wide!
Go on your back! Stay wide! Time! Go!
I'm behind you. Shot.
Go side! Tell him he's got a man! Look at Ewan! Come on!
Play off him, Gav. Play off him.
Yes, Ewan, yes!
Hold on here. Keep an eye on that referee. Keep an eye on the whistle. Happens at every level, of course, days like this. And it is good to see McVeigh really throwing it all on his shoulders there and taking some responsibility. That one's loose from Armstrong, who just doesn't want to quite make that challenge. It's an open goal now, though. And there it is, what we didn't want to see. Won't talk about what it means, but we will acknowledge that it's a hat-trick for Cowan. In the 94th minute. And what would really rip the 90 would be an instant blowing of the full-time whistle here. There's Durr getting some touches on the ball now. Summerton into the area, hopefully, for his sakes. But they're tenacious, Marist. Durr now looking to hold on to it. Look at the watch from Hughes with the whistle. But not a blow of it. Second look at the watch, you're going to imagine there's only about 30 seconds left here, and you have to acknowledge that it's just a bit of a story for the grandkids today for Electronet Gisborne Thistle. Win or learn is the phrase, and plenty of learnings today. Foster plays that one for Farmer. We've got full time here. It's Palmerston North Marist, plenty of Electronet Gisborne Thistle. Nothing today, but it's a new week next week. It's a bus trip home for the boys, and it's the first appearance at home where they host Palmerston North United at Childers Road Reserve, 12:30. Look forward to hearing your support then. You get to take in the coverage, like always, on Rangai Media. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.